Alright. Phoebe Rizzo here again. Sometimes the void just stares right back into you, man. It really does. I've only seen this movie once before, and that was more than 5 years ago. It's a movie I've actually been trying to add to my personal collection, but for the longest time it's been out of print and has been very expensive to track down. Still haven't done that, but Shudder recently put it up, so I decided, yeah, let's rewatch that. I had forgotten a lot about this movie. A lot of it stuck with me, and I definitely remember the last half of it. Front half of it was completely gone from my mind because the last act is just so memorable, intense. Okay, Martyrs, 2008 French film. It's pretty infamous in the horror world. It did get a 2015 remake, but most people have side-eyed that one. I haven't seen it. Will probably eventually, but it's kind of hard to top what Martyrs did on its own. Okay, so this follows two friends, Lucy and Anna. Now, I'm really hoping I'm not getting them mixed up for which one's which, but Lucy was abducted as a child and was subjected to torments. However, she managed to escape and was then taken into what essentially like an orphanage, where she met her friend Anna. And those two became fast friends, grew up together, though Lucy is still seeing terrible things, mostly the ghost, then what appears to be a ghost stalking her. We pick up 15 years later, which do not remember the whole ghost aspect at all, especially at the beginning, which was really creepy because I wasn't expecting that coming back into this movie, because the last act really eclipsed that. Now, it's probably going to stick with me this time, though. Not the implications of what was going on are there in full force. Anyway, 15 years later, we pick up with an entirely unrelated family that seems to be this typical nuclear family, mother, father, son, and daughter, talking about their son going off for education, just going back and forth over that until Lucy breaks in and just shotguns everyone. And some intense scenes, with particularly her even mercilessly gunning down the children. This is not a kind movie. However, then she is attacked by what appears to be a tormented naked woman. This woman only exists in her mind, and it's essentially her hurting herself over her guilt of leaving someone behind in the torment she faced, but she showed up to kill these people because she is so sure that they were the ones who did this, who took her and tortured her as a child. She saw them in a newspaper clipping and remembered them. Anna brought her here and was hoping she was just going to observe and try to figure it out, and then call the police, but no. Now she's trying to help her friend cover this up, but also doesn't quite believe that these were the people that had done it. So, with Lucy being continually tormented still by her visions of this ghost, and one of the people still possibly being alive, Lucy's trying to help hide the bodies, help get any survivors away from her dangerous friend, and at the same time, she still loves her friend to end and is trying to help her. This review has to go into spoiler territory, so if you haven't seen this movie, it's an intense movie, and it gets very graphic, very gory, very brutal, and does not hold back. Watch with caution, but I do highly recommend this movie. So, I'm going to go into spoiler territory from this point on. I'm actually giving this one, I've been debating, but I don't know if there's anything I could improve on this one. I'm giving this one a flat out 10. I will give Martyrs a 10 MacGuffins. shocking and definitely leaves you feeling affected, but it's trying to. And the ending is just gives you a lot to wonder and think about. So, okay. So, after Lucy then visions end up killing her, i.e. killing herself, Anna's left alone in the house. But then a group breaks in and abducts her. Well, I guess, no, before that, she finds a secret area in the basement, and with another person chained up down there. Uh-oh, turns out these were the people that did take her as a child, and she was right all along. Now, overcome with guilt and grief that she didn't trust her friend and believe her when she needed her most, which quite possibly led to her death. And now having this other tortured woman that she's trying to help, gets worse when everyone else, when a bunch of others break in and take Anna into captivity and begin the process all over again on her. Explaining what they're trying to do is create a martyr. Someone who's been essentially tortured to the point of utter agony, and then, however, while still alive, should experience a not quite religious, because they make a point that many non-religious people experience it, but some sort of spiritual ecstasy that where you can see beyond. They want to take someone to that point and hear what they have to say. They've gotten a few people there, but they've always expired before they've been able to relate what they've seen. So begins a long extended period of abuse, of abuse and torture that takes up quite a bit of the movie. And it is not for the faint of heart, particularly as she is fucking skinned alive. However, the most haunting parts come actually later when she has her experience and is pretty much called to, then the leader of this cult essentially is called to hear what she has to say. Then we do not hear what she has to say about what she experienced or in her visions and what she saw about the world beyond. Well, then, but the whole group gathers to hear what the leader has been told. Which the leader, before addressing them, is pretty much is in the bathroom, apparently getting ready, but speaks to one of her handlers, asking if if he knows what lies beyond. When he says no, she says, "Good, keep doubting," and then shoots herself. We don't know what she was told, but apparently the doubt is better than the answer. We don't know if she was trying to get to the afterlife, if after it was something good, or if she was told there's nothing there at all, or something in between. Which is kind of a haunting finale to this very grim film. That said, the acting is superb. The gore effects are top-notch. I didn't notice any dodgy CG. Some of the makeup effects were 50-50. Well, I can't even say 50-50. They were ugly, but they were supposed to be, so a lot of it is not pretty to look at, but it is not meant to be. And you really feel the desperation on Anna. She's, in the beginning half, trying to help her friend, who's clearly beyond help. This movie leaves you gutted, and I can have nothing but praise for it for doing so. I was debating whether to go 9 or 10, but I can't really think of anything I would improve on this film. It's a rough sit, but a movie like this should not be a comfortable sit. So yeah, 10 MacGuffins, like I said before. Definitely check out 2008 Martyrs, the French version. I know there's an American remake, but I've heard it's best to stay clear of it. I'll watch that one if I get a chance, but for right now, stick with the French one. You may be sorry you watched it, because, again, not for the faint of heart, the squeamish, or the easily offended, but damn. I originally came across this film back when me and a coworker were just talking more obscure and more extreme movies, and essentially we're trading films back and forth. After I gave him one of my more extreme ones, after we'd been slowly escalating, he finally said, "Okay, I don't normally lend this movie out, but I think you can handle it." Then he gave it to me. And I was glad he did, but whew, this is a movie. All right. Try to have a good night, everyone.